The old building stood 3 stories tall. It was a maze of departments, each holding its own secrets. The air was always cold, even on summer days. I felt a constant unease, like something was watching me. The basement storage was the worst. It was dark, dusty, and filled with shadows. Every time I went down there, I felt a chill run down my spine. I knew I wasn't alone. Then there was the fitting room area. It was always silent, even when the store was busy. The mirrors seemed to reflect more than just my image. I often saw fleeting shadows and felt a presence behind me. The entire store was like a magnet for the paranormal. I was about to find out just how real it was. One evening I was closing up the store. I was alone, making my rounds through the deserted aisles. As I passed the fitting rooms, I heard a noise. It was a soft voice, like someone was talking to themselves. I stopped, listening intently. The voice was coming from the last fitting room. I cautiously approached, my heart pounding in my chest. I knocked lightly. "Hello? Is anyone in there?" Silence. I knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. I slowly pushed open the door. The fitting room was empty. There was no one there. But on the floor, I saw a man's leather wallet. It was old and worn, like it had been there for years. I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. I continued my closing duties, my mind racing. As I turned off the lights in the back, I heard it again. Whispers, faint and indistinct, but definitely there. They seemed to be coming from all around me, swirling in the darkness. I froze, my blood turning to ice. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was the wind or the old building settling. But deep down, I knew it was something more. Fear gripped me, tightening its icy fingers around my throat. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed with terror. I had to do something. I couldn't just stand there in the dark, letting the fear consume me. I took a deep breath and spoke, my voice trembling. "Who's there?" I asked, my voice echoing in the silence. "What do you want?" To my horror, a voice responded. It was low and guttural, filled with an ancient sadness. "Help me," it whispered. My heart leaped into my throat. I stumbled back, knocking over a shelf of boxes. The noise seemed to startle the entity. The voice faded into silence, leaving me alone in the darkness. I ran. I ran faster than I ever had before, not stopping until I reached the safety of the brightly lit street outside. Section 5. My coworker's terror. The next day, I told my coworker Sarah about what happened. To my surprise, she wasn't skeptical. She believed me. "I knew this place was haunted," she said, her voice low. "I've seen things too. Shadows moving in the corners of my eyes, things disappearing and reappearing in different places." Sarah told me about her own terrifying experience in the basement storage. She had been down there alone when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around, but there was no one there. She ran upstairs, her heart pounding, and refused to ever go back down there alone. Section 6. The Hauntings Continue. The hauntings didn't stop. If anything, they seemed to intensify after that night. We would hear strange noises, see fleeting shadows, and feel cold spots in certain areas of the store. Items would move on their own, lights would flicker and die. The atmosphere was heavy with a palpable sense of dread. We tried to ignore it, to pretend it wasn't happening, but it was impossible. The hauntings were a constant presence in our lives, a dark cloud hanging over us. We were trapped in a nightmare. Section 7. A fresh start. After months of enduring the paranormal activity, I couldn't take it anymore. I requested a transfer to another store, one that wasn't haunted. To my relief, my request was granted. I said goodbye to the old building, to its shadows and its secrets, and started anew in a bright modern store across town. The difference was night and day. Section 8. The Peace of Silence. The new store was filled with light and laughter. The air was clean and fresh. There were no cold spots, no strange noises, no feeling of being watched. For the first time in months, I felt safe. I could breathe again. I could sleep again. The nightmares that had plagued me since my encounters in the haunted store slowly began to fade. I was free. Section 9. Lessons learned. My time in the haunted store changed me. It opened my eyes to a world beyond our understanding, a world where the veil between the living and the dead is thin and easily pierced. It taught me that there are things in this world that we cannot explain, things that defy logic and reason, and it taught me the true meaning of fear. Section 10. A haunting reminder. Even though I am now safe in my new store, I can never forget the horrors I experienced in that haunted place. The memories linger, like shadows in the back of my mind. And sometimes, when I'm alone in the quiet of my own home, I can still hear those whispers, faint and indistinct, but always there. A haunting reminder of the darkness that lies just beyond our perception.